Alrighty, boys and girls. Well, the bull market is still ongoing now as we have Bitcoin bouncing off the low of that channel now, right? The most hated channel right now on the crypto space where Bitcoin is trading at right now. And we've got Pepe as well. We're going to be talking about Pepe and where it's headed right now. We're going to be talking about Turbo, as a lot of people like it right now, and Kaspa as well. So with no further ado, let's get to today's video. You know what to do. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. We're doing this. We're staying here. The bull market is still ongoing. So let's get into it. So you might be surprised today to see Bitcoin still at $60,000, right? And you might be bullish because you're watching Zack, but a lot of people are not, right? So today we have the fear and greed index, right? The fear is at extreme level. Everyone is fearful and everyone is doubting that we're gonna see any higher prices now, which tells me we're gonna see higher prices. It's that simple, right? So you see now here Bitcoin again bouncing off that. Now we had to take a break here, right? Which was the weekend. So this was Friday, this red candle here, this was Friday. So usually in the weekends, the big banks, the big boys are having a break, right? And the spaghetti hands are doing their thing. They're in front of their computers. They finally have time and they finally escape their matrix 9 to 5 and they have time to be looking at the charts. And you know what they did, right? They dumped it, right? They dumped it towards 58K and now it's bouncing back up. And that is due to the S&P 500, right? So for now, guys, we have a very clear thing going on in the market, which is Bitcoin is following the S&P 500, the US stock market. Now today it opened green. It had a bit of volatility, which kind of did the same on Bitcoin, but we have a very bullish bounce on Bitcoin. And I'll show you here, guys. So Bitcoin here, if we go to that weekly, we seen this weekly close yesterday, right? Very powerful weekly close. As you can see, this green big wick here, right to the downside. And you see this weekly open. That's also for those that have been asking me how to trade Bitcoin or something like that. So you can add this to your toolbox when you're looking at Bitcoin, especially, and majors in general. You see this weekly open. Usually it's very respected as a support and resistance level, right? So you see it here. You can put a line here, right, and mark it on your chart. It's very powerful. So if we go to the 4 hour and you'll see this for yourselves, right? So you see what we had is like we bounced above it, right? We bounced above it. We broke above it here on Thursday. Then Friday we went way above it, right? Which told me, or which signaled that we're gonna have a very bullish weekly close, which the previous week, by that I mean. And you see that we went down right to it, like Bitcoin sold off right into it and then bounced right back up. And some people ask me about what is this line here, right? So let me show you also for those that are asking how to day trade Bitcoin and how to look at Bitcoin. So this is another tool you want to have in your toolbox, right? Which called the fixed range tool, right? Very simple, very easy, right? These are like alpha trading tools for Bitcoin, right? Nobody's gonna, you're gonna have to pay thousands of dollars to learn this, but it's very simple though, right? So you use this tool, it just shows you where most of the volume is, right? Where people sell and buy and sell, where the freaks are, right? So the freaks here are usually around this level. You see, like sometimes you're gonna have to move it around, right? Because it changes. It depends of the volume, right? Where the volume is happening. Depends of the exchange. So this is Bitcoin on perpetual contract on Binance, right? Because that's what I'm trading. You need to use it on the highest volume trading pair, right? And usually it's Binance. So Binance is the biggest, largest exchange. So that's where you want to get your data from. So you see that line here, right? And so before it changed, it was a bit higher. So let me put it what it was back then, right? So it was a tiny bit higher, right? So you see that when we go back to the 4 hour and you'll see that we went into it again, right? Like we went into it, we got rejected, we went into it, and then we got rejected, right? So this told me we're going to see a retest back here, right? So I did update you guys on Discord. I told you like we're going to see possibly 58, 57K and then another bounce back up here. So we're seeing it. That's bullish to me, right? To see this weekly holding, like this weekly opening, the price is holding right above it. Now we might still need to see more strength because we need to get back above that here, that value area low. This is the most important level here because you see now, if we go back to the daily, it's the actual resistance here, right? So it's been our resistance for a while now, this parts here, right? You see this, bounce, right? So this here is locally, right? Locally, it doesn't matter. Overall, in the long term, for the long term, overall, I do think Bitcoin is still gonna break out higher. But the signal we have as well is the S&P, right? So Bitcoin is following the S&P, and meme coins, altcoins are following Bitcoin. So that's very related. Everything is correlated, and that's where we're looking at right now. So the S&P, right? The S&P is as well something we want to look at, and you see that the S&P also gets some type of 6% dumps, right? These are like their 70% with meme coins. In the stock market, they have 6%, they start freaking out. So they have 6% here, and then we see a bounce, then we have another 6% here, right? We had even more here, so we had a 9%. That's like a bear market kind of dump on when you see those on the S&P, right? You usually see that bounces. So we're not going to look from here. Like the major one here is this one, since we broke out of the bear market. Like this is the S&P bear market as well, right? 2022. So you see this here as well. This was a 10%. Interesting. So 10%, 6%, and here almost 9%, almost 10%. So whenever this happens, we see a big pullback on the S&P, like 6%, 10%. We see reversals. So I do think we're going to have a bullish week here on the S&P. We do have as well, guys, the US core PPI, which is the inflation report coming in tomorrow, right? This would also be a thing to be looking at, right? Overall, the market is pricing in bearish, right? The market is already priced in bearish. That was the dump here. Already priced in the Japan recession fear mongering and stuff like that. It already did that. So in my experience, or what I've seen, usually this news, they really don't matter. It usually just reinforces a bias in the market, or it usually reverses the market. So if we were at the top and then we had this news coming, the market will automatically start selling into it, right? Because they don't know. But also when we have a dip or a bottom, the market will start buying into it, into the news. So that's how it works. Don't get too caught up with what the news is actually, but with how the market will react to it. The market doesn't matter. Always news. For the market, news are just pivot points, right? If it's at the high, it means it's gonna go down. If it's at the low, it means it's gonna go up. So here we're a bit in the middle, but the extreme fear is telling me we're gonna see a bit more of a push. So we're gonna have to wait for Monday. Usually it's a bit of a volatile day, but we do have as well Elon Musk today, right? 8 p.m. East is gonna be live on X with President Donald Trump. So this also is something you want to be looking at, especially when it comes to meme coins. So you want to join my Discord, link in the description. It's free to join. I did share some plays that I do think that are gonna play out with this kind of live going on. Also, this could be a bit of a bullish live for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. It's just like when you are on a meme coin, when you buy a meme coin and the dev is doing a Twitter space, right? But this is on a larger scale. So this could be a bullish thing. If it was at the highs, it won't be, but now at the lows, right? So what worse can go on from here, right? So that's when it comes to Bitcoin. So you know what? Everything follows Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin comes up from here, we're all good. That's why I put a lot of time on Bitcoin and talking about Bitcoin, and everybody you see around is talking about Bitcoin mainly because everything else just go up when Bitcoin goes up. It doesn't matter what coin you have, it's everything, they all go up. It just matters of which one is gonna go higher than the other, right? That's what you're trying to bet on. It's like a horse racing game, and you're trying to pick the best horse. They all gonna run, and most of them are gonna run, right? But who's gonna be the winner? First place, second place, third place, right? And for Bitcoin now, we need this 61K to get cleared, right? So far we have a bullish Monday. So if we see a push up here, 61, 62, we might see another pullback tomorrow after the PPI news, right? Maybe again tag this line, and then we might see another continuation to the upside. Now overall, we're gonna still be ranging here, right? Just don't expect a bull market tomorrow, guys, right? It's the way it is, right? It's gonna keep ranging here, but overall, very likely that we put in the actual low here, right? After the halving. So each halving year on Bitcoin, we do have a low, right? That gets put on, and that's usually the low of the lows, right? It's the last low before actual bull market, right? That's why I do say whenever we get dips, it's the right time to accumulate dollar cost average and stuff like that, because once you miss it, that's it, right? So this is the halving year, right? These lines, they show you the halving each time it happens, right? So the previous bull cycle, you see that we had the halving, but then here we had a low, right? Right after it, we had a dump, then a range. And it's, you see, guys, how boring that is actually, right? When you look at it, the halving 2020, right? So it's been boring for a while since that halving. It's actually took around 75 days. It's not as long as now, right? If we look at it this way, and now it's been around 110 days, right? So what if this is the low, right? It could be, right? This is very likely that this is the low on Bitcoin, right? I remember like I thought this was the low actually because it was 77 days. It was almost the same time frame as this previous halving, right? This one was 75 days until we seen the actual breakout here. And now it took a bit longer. All the cycles repeat, right? But they do have certain differences, right? And the thing we know, or the most important thing here, is we always put in a major low, right? The last low, right? And it could be this one, and that could be it, right? But keep in mind, this could just do that again here, again back here, 60K or 62K, and then we actually see the real breakout, which is September, October, we do have the Fed's cutting rate, right? So overall, all in all, right? Overall, I'm still bullish on Bitcoin, and I do think Bitcoin is gonna go way higher, and we possibly see a 150K Bitcoin, right? By the time this happens, by the time this breaks out, every coin you wanna buy would be at least 2x or 5x higher from today's prices, right? And that's how the market works. When the market is fearful, it means people are selling, panic selling, doing all that stuff because they just go with the red and green candles, right? Green candles, red candles, green candles. And now they'll wait until they see that final squeeze up and a bullish close above 75K, and everybody's screaming bull market is on, and they're gonna jump in. And we need to actually punish them one more time, right? Punish those Jeets, right? Punish those spaghetti hands one last time. Make them buy the high again at 75K and then pull it back towards 60K. Make them fearful again, sell everything, and then we go higher. See you, right? Bull market. The market doesn't want the majority to win. Just always remember that. Market wants the majority to lose. So when everybody's fearful, it's the right time to buy, right? And when everybody's greedy, then you want to be switching that to maybe now I do have to have some targets to the upside. But overall, when it comes to the selling part, that happens when we have a true bull market that we have historically. After each halving, we do have the halving year, which is 2024, and then the post-halving year, which is 2025, and that's the bull market, right? That's when we actually see the squeezes up, the actual bull market, the altcoin season and meme coin season. That's when we start to think of getting out, right? Slowly. And this is possibly, as I've been sharing, it's around March till May, right? It's possibly we're gonna have another May and go away, sell in May and go away the 2025, right? We're gonna be looking at that. Until then, just holding, right? Just holding, waiting for this to happen, right? That's our job here, is just to be looking at that. Unless you're day trading, that's a different story. But if you're buying to invest, in my opinion, right? Not financial advice, but that's what I'm doing, right? We're waiting for that actual altcoin season to happen, which is gonna be around March, or at least like we're gonna see that last, because we do have 2 months of actually up only friends, and that could be March and April, right? This could be these 2 months, right? So if we come back here again, guys, from after the halving here, it actually took after to break out the all-time high, which is 20K. It's this one here. It took around 200 days, right, to actually break the all-time high, and the actual altcoin season started here, right? Started after Bitcoin started breaking its previous all-time high. Now we have previous all-time high is 69K. We already did that, but I do think now it's 75K, right? That's the actual top we need to break above durably, right? And see an actual sustained breakout, right? We did here, right? Above 1920K. Took around 200 days and put us around September still. When we go here to put us around September, 200 days. So that's around mid-October, right? Mid-October, we need to see that actual 75K weekly candle break above, and then we start the actual altcoin season that's gonna top probably around April, May. So that's the point. We're gonna have another dumps, like we're gonna have a May, April dump, very likely, because this is seasonal. We always see that, right? So I'm seeing it in advance, because once we're gonna get there, we're gonna see it depends what the market is selling us by then we're gonna have to reconsider. But for now, this is what usually happens. Comes May, sell and go away, but usually we see another leg up after that, and that's the actual top bull market top, right? And this could be around September, October of 2025, because usually the whole year, the post-halving year, which is 2025, is the actual bull market. So we do have kind of two seasons within that, right? So the first one is where we get paid. The early guys were here, like where we get paid. And the second one is where the retail get paid, right? Like retail that stick around, retail that are gonna come in April, May, they're gonna buy the dip, they're gonna get paid here if they take profits. And then those that are gonna come here, those are gonna stay around until the next bull market, right? Like the same like 2021. So that's the actual deal that we're waiting for now here. So let's go quick on Pepe and other altcoins that I told you about now on this video. So the plan here is the same, guys. If you look at Pepe, you will see that it's just following Bitcoin. It's like this is a sign of strength, right? This tells me that nobody's interested into selling Pepe, right? And people are more into it, trying to buy it. So as soon as it pumps, Pepe follow, right? Pepe follow. People want to buy Pepe, right? Spot buying it, it's spot buying it in future longs. People are bullish on this asset and people want to go long. People want to buy it. People expect higher prices, right? Or at least the smart people, right? The spaghetti hands already sold, or are they selling after H green candle? Time to sell. You know what they do. But here we do have this thing going on here for Pepe, right? It's a bit of a messy chart, but you see that we have, let me remove. So we do have some sort of a triangle forming, right? If you see that, like we have this high, low, and the triangle forming. And if we look at the RSI, which is actually what tells us what's going on, right? So the RSI has been cooling off while we have this kind of a triangle. So this tells me that Pepe is oversold, like it's at the low of the lows, and we need to see some breakouts now, right? If it breaks out, then happy days again, guys. We're gonna see new highs on Pepe and Pepeverse, right? Brett Eat, all the guys, they're waiting for that to happen. So that's when it comes to Pepe. I do think it's still bullish. There is nothing bearish at all about this. And we do have this on, when we look at the RSI, you see this downtrend on the RSI, and you'll see something here is very similar to this. Actually, the ship is still fuming. And you see this part here, guys, is actually the same. Like we had this little pump here of that super bearish time on Pepe here. We had this pump, and then the RSI was just cooling off. Like people are actually selling in this range, right? Selling, and as soon as it dropped, then we seen the skyrocket, right? And the same thing is playing out here. And mind you, now we're at the lowest band on the RSI as well. Here again, we're at the lowest band. So this low you see here is actually might be this actual low here, and then from there we see the actual breakout. The next leg up is gonna be massive, because now we've accumulated long enough. We don't have a lot of people holding the price down. Nobody's interested into selling. The price did not nuke at all. When we see in Bitcoin nuking and other altcoins doing very badly, Pepe is holding strong within these highs. That's crazy, right? That's actually crazy to see that it's holding strong within these highs. If we look at Shiba Inu, is not doing that at all, right? Shiba Inu is not doing that. Just look at the strength to see what's happening in the market. Like look at Shiba Inu, right? Nothing against Shiba Inu. I do think this got still is at least gonna go back to its all-time high. It's actually going in line with other utility coins like Avalanche, Cardano, XRP, even outperforming XRP. But it's actually pumping with the market, which is something we want to see, and we might see it actually coming back to its all-time high, which is not a bad thing here. It's a decent pump from here, right? It's like a 7x or 8x from here, right? It's an 8x for Shiba Inu to come back to its previous all-time high. It's not bad, right? It's not bad, but I do think Pepe got more. Pepe got at least maybe 10x to up to 20x, right? But Shiba Inu, if it comes back to its all-time high, it's a 7 to 8x, but it's gonna be very short-lived, right? You can guess everybody's gonna try to take profits around these highs here. But you can see that the outperformance, right? Like Shiba Inu couldn't hold these highs here. Like Shiba Inu was literally struggling to hold after that massive pump. It completely retraced its pump. You can see that it's back now, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is a 70% drop like we see all the time. It's a 70% drop, right? So for put it here, it's a 75% drop, right, on Shiba Inu. You see that? That's actually funny. Even when on Shiba Inu, you see that 70%, 75%, and then it usually marks the bottom. So when you compare it with Pepe, Shiba Inu completely retraced its 2023 pump, or this was March, February, early 2024 pump, when everything was pumping. This time was Bitcoin was breaking towards 74k. Everything was bullish. This is kind of a teaser of what the bull market can do, right? So as soon as Bitcoin breaks above all-time high, everything will start pumping, including those that did not pump. Like Shiba Inu did not pump at all for a long time in 2023, while Pepe, BONK, Dog, we've had all these guys. they were pumping. But just to show you, you see like it's a very weak compared to Pepe or compared to any top meme coin for that matter. Like any new meme coin, Shiba Inu is pretty weak against it, even Dogecoin, because people like new stuff, right? That's the thing. There is no real explanation data for that, but they do like it, right? Humans, they do like things for reasons that we don't know. Pepe, dog, we have BONK, even Floki is outperforming, right? We have every meme coin here is outperforming Shiba Inu. Doesn't mean Shiba Inu will not pump. Shiba Inu has still like maybe a 5 to 8x in it, but just to show you here. So one more thing here is, so as soon as Bitcoin breaks above, we're gonna see Pepe as the strongest leader, the strongest meme coin, and just looking by just looking at its chart, it's gonna be the strongest meme coin to break out because it's holding strong. It did not retrace any of its gains, right? So look at that, like it's still up massively from the breakout, and this is on Binance, like without counting people that actually bought on Dex Screener and stuff. So this is actually still 5x above that range, and it's just from the breakout. I'm just counting the breakout. I'm not just even counting the low on Binance, which is 12x or 13x, right? Just from the breakout is a 5x still, 5-6x above that. So it did not retrace any gains, which means very strong. Once it's gonna break out again, well, you know, we're gonna have another push up, maybe another 5x, right? This is gonna put its market cap to, let's say, close to 10 billion. I do think we're gonna see a bit of a profit taking going on around 10 billion, then pull back again, right? Maybe a 50%, a 70%, like we see, right? The matrix simulation kind of thing going on with the cryptos, right? And then another push back up, 15 billion, 20 billion price discovery, and then no more people freaking out and real true mass euphoria going on there. And we're gonna see those kind of real rallies like which we've seen previously with Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, those actual rallies that you can't stop, right? So that's the plan. And this goes for everything else, right? Like top meme coins to bottom, all of them. Once the frenzy starts, everything pumps, right? Doesn't matter what meme coin you're holding, they're all gonna pump. Just matter of who is gonna be the highest. So that's why we're bidding Pepe and Pepe friends and the boys club and Pepe relatives and the Pepe verse, right? So you got Dog, we've had, and BONK as the Solana leaders, right? And we've got recently Popcat, which is bouncing pretty well. We do have Toshi as well, that I talked about previous video, and it's actually showing some decent recovery now. So you see Toshi is up 77%, so we're slowly seeing that. I'm gonna make a different video soon on most of the meme coins I'm actually looking at. I'm gonna make one on just dedicated to mid caps, then one dedicated to low caps when it comes to meme coin. So Pepe, Dog we've had, and BONK are gonna outperform Shiba Inu. The question is who's gonna flip Shiba Inu? I do think it's gonna be Pepe because of its strong chain. Dog we've had and BONK are on Gitlana, and Gitlana seems to be still going on. The trenches are alive and doing well. So Solana is still ongoing. I don't think that's gonna help much with the pumps on these big guys here. Now when it comes to Turbo, as a lot of people really get interested into this recently, so I'm gonna cover it. And as I told you guys, you now know, write this on your trading journal, 70% pullbacks are the norm in the crypto space and usually marks bottoms. We just seen that on Shiba Inu as well, right? So this is not really as like, this is a 69%, right? 69, maybe 420, 69, 420, and it could be the bottom on Turbo. Don't get me wrong, but a 75% won't surprise me. But I do think this is the bottom on Turbo, right? This is gonna accumulate for a long time. So if you're holding or you bought the top on Turbo and now you're looking on YouTube, where's Turbo gonna pump? And the real thing here is, are you gonna be able to be patient until it actually happens? So now it's been how long now? 75 days till the all-time high, since the all-time high. So we usually see a bigger range. This is gonna take you maybe until September, right? Maybe October till you see an actual breakout here, an actual breakout. Right? Takes you to a new high, and you might see a 2-3 billion max tops on Turbo. I would say 1 billion is gonna be a very, very big milestone to break on Turbo, like the 1 billion mark, right? And then you'll see another pullback and you will freak out, right? And then maybe another accumulation, then you'll see if it's gonna stick around or not. But for now it's looking strong, right? Everybody's talking about it. It manages to build a strong community that actually cared about this coin. So there you go, right? So then you got Kaspa, which everybody's looking at right now, and I noticed something very interesting with Kaspa when you compare it with Pepe. So when you look at Kaspa now, now, right? If you bought the top in 2023 on Kaspa, you are back at the exact price, right? You are back at the exact price, but it's holding strong. And something with Kaspa to note is Kaspa has been rallying through the bear market, bull market. It just kept going up. People that understand utility, right? New technology or a new way, proof of work, mineable coin, fair launch and all that stuff. They have some new technology and stuff like that. I don't care about that stuff. I care about the charts and it's going up and people care about it. And it has built some sort of a decent attention and built a decent community and caught everyone's attention. That's what I care about. That's what makes prices go up, right? So here you see that it's also as well follows Bitcoin, right? So this recently we've seen it trying to break out, trying to go for an all-time high. It wasn't the strongest breakout, right? As soon as Bitcoin broke down, it broke down with it, right? So now people are asking, well, is it gonna keep going up? Very likely, yeah, right? So if you look at the chart, you can see that this is actually massively bullish. It's gonna keep going up towards the bull market. One more thing is I'm gonna add Pepe chart here and you'll see something interesting is when Kaspa tops, you see this is very interesting to see when you are looking at Pepe and Kaspa. I don't know how legit that is, but it's been playing for a while now and you can see. So Kaspa topped and later on Pepe started its rally, and then when Pepe topped here, right, you see Pepe topped, started going down, Kaspa started going up, right? You see that? That's very interesting to see here in the charts, right? It happened twice so far. So I don't know how good of an indicator that is, but now both are following the same thing because of Bitcoin. They're both following Bitcoin. So as soon as Bitcoin is gonna break out, as I said, Kaspa is gonna break out. How long or how far will it go? How much of a pump would you expect on this, right? Well, it all comes down to, right, looking at this, right? How long this gonna keep going, right? How long this gonna keep going? With Kaspa, the way it goes, right, or as it seems, or it's been playing, is you want to wait for those massive pullbacks like those, and then you get in heavy, and then usually you get another push up higher, and you got those often when it comes to Kaspa. You got those here, right? You got those here, like you got an 8x here, and then you got another here 10x, right, or 11x. So and that's actually not even diminishing at this point. So you see this, you might get another 6 to 7x here, right? It just this time it might be a bit, it might take some time, right? This time it might take some time. This accumulation it took a bit longer, right? And also the sentiment, now everyone is bullish, right? Back here nobody cared, right? And back here this was like the actual pump that got everybody interested, and now everybody is buying after that massive pump and expecting this. And what I do think is gonna be more diminished somewhere around the 5x. Then overall in the bull market that might be another 10x left right there, 10 to 20x. It wouldn't be surprising, but it's gonna be a long time. Just so you know, this is not something you expect in even a year to do that. Like it's gonna be longer unless you catch a dip. So the best way to go around this when you don't have Kaspa is to actually wait for a massive pullback, and 2 times it played out perfectly, right? If you waited for a dip on this to here, this was a 50% and you got an 8x after it, and then if you waited from here to here, this was a 70% or 60% dump, and then you got a 10x, right? So far we hadn't had any real major dumps unless we count these as one, right? So this one was a 40% or let's say 50%. So if you actually caught this dip, you're good. And if you see it coming back here, that would be amazing, right? That would be amazing. That would be actually another push up to another maybe 6, maybe between 5 and 10x, and then you'll see the next 50% or 70% drop. Then you see another maybe 2-3x, and it's gonna keep diminishing over time. So overall it's still bullish, right? Nothing to really freak out about. It's one of the strongest utility coins. Literally, if you look at any other utility, they are not doing that actually, right? So that's about it, guys. I'll stay tuned for more videos coming up soon for those mid-cap meme coins that you want to get into, and after that we're gonna have some low-cap gems as well, and I'm gonna keep you updated, guys, with whatever is going on here. So stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe, and thank you so much for watching this video till the end, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.